As I was reading 2 or 3 books on shorthand, I had to stop to consider if what I was doing was the best way of going on. I felt that this matter needed careful consideration at some time in the near future. My shorthand buddy Tom told me we have just been given our first exam certificates by the authorities, and I hope that you realise how far we have been able to get. But at the same time, I agree that it is important to reconsider our point of view on the subject of the best way forward. In reply, I said that it would be very good at some time to find other ways of improving. The book said it is necessary on your part to pay careful attention in regard to the various forms, so they are of the best quality, even if you have been writing for several years. You will improve much more if you write correct forms in the margin at the side of the page, and practice them in such a way that you can write them at once. There was much more advice on how to get ahead in other ways. For the most part, Tom and I intend to start following their advice as soon as possible. We will be doing extra practice on the most important words and all those which were in need of correction. In our opinion, these are reasonable requirements, and we hope that, as a result, we will very shortly be able to keep up with the speaker and not be too many words behind. Tom said, "You must be doing more than I am, as it is clear your improvements are greater than mine at the moment. So how are you doing all this?" We have come to the conclusion we would be better off doing our practicing at the same time, in order to have a friendly competition. It was most important to take pieces down at a speed more or less above our present one, and if there were certain forms we did not know, we must give them more consideration before the attempt. We found a passage that had many words that were easy, and several words that were a little more unusual. We would see whether or not we were able to write all the many forms without making mistakes. We set out our materials and each recorded half the passage. It would appear that Tom had put in a very considerable amount of effort and finished writing at the same time as the recording stopped. I was lagging behind a few seconds, but I said to Tom, "We shall have to see whose note has the fewest errors." We each read out our shorthand note, while the other marked against the text. I am very glad to say that we came out even. After that, we had to mark each other's outlines to see if they were properly formed. I joked to Tom, "I have to call to your attention that this outline could have been several different things. I think that you are relying on memory for that." He said, "In my opinion, your so-called outline for that long word is not what they would have given in the book." So we went on with our efforts, and we found that once more we were more or less on target to grab a success at 100. But at the same time, we knew that it would most certainly take a very considerable amount of extra practicing work. Tom said it is a very important part of our plan that we find more time in the day in order to get to our goal. As a rule, we had just enough time for our studies, but to become even better, we had to think of ways and means of finding more minutes here and there. Tom said that it is possible as long as we pay more attention to what is going on at all times. I said we must also be sure we have our materials ready at all times and make use of them without delay. According to the lists we had made in the next few days, in regard to the possible savings of time, we were each able to find more than 20 minutes extra practicing every day during our breaks, travelling times, and various delays. Some other persons might say that they would not be able to do more, and that it has never been at all possible to make their day longer. The other side of the argument is that in some cases they would have been able to succeed if they had been wishing to get further in their business careers. Tom said, "Our writing is not anything like it used to be at first. We have not only found but made our own opportunities here and there. If at the beginning we had been able to see ahead to the future, we would have been most surprised at how far we have come in just a few months." I said to Tom, "You must remember that these requirements for speed are most certainly going to carry on forever, as I will be right behind you, making sure I can do as much as I can to keep up with you."